Wakey, wakey, hand off snakey. Let's go with another episode of the podcast. I am super pumped, as always, to be greeting with y'all this beautiful Sunday afternoon, or indeed, Monday morning for you guys. So I hope you've had a beautiful, beautiful weekend, team, getting all the notifications that we are ready to rock and roll. Who's coming into this one live? Hello, Tez. Good morning, my brother. I hope you've had a beautiful start to your Monday, pal. I cannot wait to see your beautiful face, Tez. It is going to be lovely. Hello, Shawnee boy. How are you, coach? Mate, that's a lovely message to get in the morning. Hello, Xanth. Crushing it over the weekend. Absolutely loved your post yesterday of your sexy husband. Good morning, Coach Mikey. Going to be seeing you for a beautiful hug very soon. Hey, Dave, what's going on, mate? Guys, we're starting this episode in 2 minutes. Tez, it kind of dawned on me when you said it's race week, and I'm like, oh shit, I still have to do like a 15-hour flight, which is going to be sucky. So hopefully it's not too much jet lag, because that'd be shit. Hey, JC boy, what's going on? You're a consistent on the Monday podcast, Jace. Lovely to have you here. Hello, Ash. I hope you're good. And evening, good morning. All right, whoever that is, you need to click that restream link and get stuck in. Hello, Kenny and Hayes. What are you guys doing? I hope you're well. Burns is in here as well. Good morning, Burnsy Burns. We've got a few let's go's. We've got a few people that need to authorize the Facebook in here. All you need to do is just click that link above that says restream, or click here or something like that. Peace, love, and your minor. That's got to be Sean McKinnon. Guys, we're starting this episode in less than a minute. Hello, Stewie boy. What's going on, mate? Proud of our young fella today, aren't we, mate? Good on you, Kevy, you legend. Hello, Nikki friend. I hope you're good. If I haven't mentioned your name, it's because you haven't authorized restream yet, and that's it. Hello, Lozzie. Hello, Claire. And Toddy, what's going on, mate? I hope you're beautiful. All right, guys, I think we are ready to rock and roll into another episode of the podcast. Let's get stuck into this one on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to when you are sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. I hope everyone had a beautiful weekend. To my brothers and sisters back in Australia, look at that weather. I don't know what it's like now, but I saw the weather prediction. A few of the boys were sending around the what's coming up in the middle of September. It's like 35 degrees in the middle of September. I don't know what is going on there, but I am super duper pumped to get home. I want to shout out first 3 of our amazing clients. I just posted about it. Sisters Kath and Joe Marples, and the flying bald man, Kev Grant. These legends have just completed the Great North Half Marathon. So proud of you guys. Like, just doing that shit is hard, and I know how hard it is because I'm trying to do it at the moment. So super proud. For me, we're heading off to Australia. We're trying to clean up everything. I'm trying to pack as lightly as I can. And based on these weather forecasts, I reckon some flip-flops and a pair of dick stickers is probably all we need, right? So freaking excited to be leaving tomorrow, to see a few of you guys catch up, and I'm just in the right mood at the moment with 3 massive things that are happening. Firstly, my own marathon, and to be doing this with 4 or 5 other champions. Did the last long run yesterday. It was hot, it was sweaty, but the time was pretty good. Knees are a bit sore, but I'm ready to rock and roll. And this is just like, the reason I wanted to do this is to illustrate what happens if you just decide to run at your fear. And for me, running that distance is definitely scary. It is still scary, but it's proof that you can change your identity, even if you've held this identity for long. Number 2, a week later, on the 24th of September, we are running our first BBA men's retreat with more than 20 people already signed up in the Hunter Valley. This is something I've had on my bucket list since I started coaching. I'm so super excited because I believe in the power of proximity. When you bring a group of people together that are aligned, all of a sudden, things really do happen. So super excited about that. Obviously, we have a few spots left. If you still want to join, we're about, 7 or 8 days away? Maybe. No, it must be like 10 to 14 days away now. It's on the 24th, whatever that is. If you live in New South Wales and you want to make it along, then definitely get here. Now, finally, today we are launching applications for our Mastermind program. I've been teasing this out over the last few weeks. And kind of preparing myself emotionally and mentally to get stuck into it. And what I can tell you is that if you get into this program, you're going to level up your life. You're going to stop playing small. You're going to start backing yourself. You're going to start unshackling yourself from your limiting beliefs. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, because whether you're joining the mastermind or not, I think the topic's relevant. And that is, first, what is a mastermind? I first heard the concept talked about in the book Think and Grow Rich. Has anyone read it? Let me know in the comments if you've actually read this. Stu, yes, I'm doing the full marathon. Who has read this book, Think and Grow Rich? He described a mastermind in that book as kind of like a weird definition. He said, it's the coordination of knowledge and effort between a group of people who work towards a definitive purpose. No two minds ever come together without creating a third invisible, intangible force, a third mind. Now, I don't know, that kind of goes over a lot of people's head. So I want to break it down into more simple terms. You're the average of the 5 people that you hang around. Everyone knows that. So imagine taking the energy you've experienced in our base program, if you've been part of that, condensing it down to a smaller group of humans who have the goal of challenging their fears, their self-limiting beliefs, their excuses, with the aim of having a more fulfilled life. That's a mastermind, a collection of people who are in a tight bond together and to each other. Who you spend time with is who you become. I've talked about this at length on the podcast. And I think the most common thing that I see in people is they have a good enough mindset. The good enough mindset. And this isn't being critical, this is just observing. I wonder, why is it that we just settle for less in life? Why do we pull up earlier than we could or we should? Maybe it's a bit philosophical here, but I don't know, the older that I get, I kind of realize my own mortality. And then I just think to myself, if you have more than you can do and experience in the world, why would you do less than that? I see a lot of people who lose weight and they think to themselves, well, that's what I really cared about. Now I've achieved it. That's a big error in thinking, in my opinion. These are the same people that go in and out of weight loss programs, shiny objects, losing weight, regaining weight, losing weight, regaining weight. It's a never-ending cycle because they've never actually solved the correct problem. I speak to people every day that say things like, you know what, I'm thinking about joining your program, but I can be successful on my own. I know it. I've done it before. I can do it again. I've lost weight. I can do it again. Do you see the contradiction in that statement? I've lost weight before, as if that was a demonstration of success. As if losing weight was the hard bit. Losing weight's not the hard bit. Anyone can do that. Just don't eat. And that's probably what you did last time you lost weight. Probably just didn't eat for a while. Stopped drinking for a while. And the weight come off. The hard part is keeping the weight off, and at the 4 to 6 to 8 to 10 month mark, developing the mindset and identity of a person that can support what you've created in your body. This is why people self-sabotage. Anyone can change what they do for a little while, but not everyone can change who they are and how they think, so that they burn the bridges to the old person that they used to be. In a mastermind, people are committing to a deeper level of work. And as you go, one of the kind of experiences that I've had is that as you go higher in life, in whatever you're trying to go higher in, the number of people that you are with shrinks. And the only people that are really left are the people that want it the most. This is why actually people think that it is harder and harder and harder to climb higher in whatever it is you want. But it's actually not true, because the so-called competition thins out because people they have a good enough mindset. So inside this mastermind container, we meet up, we discuss the barriers that we're struggling to overcome, the successes we're having, and the real things we want to achieve. The connections that we make are incredible. Because when you're doing mindset work like this, deep mindset work, it creates vulnerability, and that creates trust. Now, the mastermind itself, it's flexible. It's not a set structure. Each month we have a different topic we're covering, but we also need to be responsive to individual things that people are experiencing, because your experience is different from mine. And if we're really going to get to our next level, whatever that is for you, then you're going to have different roadblocks to what I'm going to have, to what Sally has, to what Dave has. Completely different things. So a good question to ask yourself, whether or not you're in BBA or not, it doesn't really matter. Are the people you are spending time with the most helping you to grow your career, your health, your mindset, your relationships, or take you to your next level? And the answer is likely not. That's not being critical. It's just the nature of humans. That's why we created a mastermind, because you don't get this in your life. Most of us are we're surrounded by people who are just trying to get through the day. And again, that's not being like, try to be senior or dismissive. It's just when we're dealing with everyone else's baggage, it's hard to push ourselves because we're dealing with all of our own shit. Before I started running BBA masterminds, I had my first personal experience of being in a mastermind. I'd never done one of these before. I was in a group with 15 other fitness coaches that met up once per week to challenge each other and hold each other accountable. It was obviously run by a coach. In all of the things that I've done in my entire life, and I would say nearly as well, which is probably second to becoming a parent, it is the thing that accelerated my personal results the most. My confidence, my self-belief, more than anything. And my gosh, we went deep with some real self-limiting beliefs. At the start, if I'm completely honest, I was thinking to myself, I feel like a bit of an imposter here. I'm not sure I'm ready for this. I'm not sure I'm good enough for this. Do you ever have those thoughts in your mind that you're in a crowd, but you don't feel like you're good enough? That's exactly what I felt like. It's called imposter syndrome. And that's exactly what I felt like. The truth is, I was actually just scared and nervous, but also excited at the same time. Yet I trusted my coach because I'd done his base program, and I almost like mentally committed to saying, well, whatever price he told me it was going to be, I'm just going to do it anyway, because if I just keep playing small, I'm leaving stones unturned. And I credit most of what this academy is to what I learned in that mastermind. So why did we start a BBA mastermind? There's two reasons. Number one, the failure rate of most programs that only focus on diet and exercise, nutrition and exercise, is high. And this is actually super freaking depressing. It's like 90%. In other words, 90% of people who do programs, they go back to how they were before. In the end, within 3 to 5 years, people end up regaining the weight or going back. Is that because the plan stops working? No, it's not. It's because you only truly stick to something when you embody the thing, when you become the thing. And for most people, 6 months is just not enough change. It's not enough time to change an identity into a forever thing. Let me point out, for example, that if you're a good parent, it's because you believe you're a good parent. You've embodied that belief. And so parenting is pretty automatic for you because it's who you believe yourself to be. You've embodied it. So all you're doing is expressing what has been impressed. Does that make sense? Can you let me know in the comments if that actually makes sense, guys? If your relationship, your romantic relationship is awesome, it's in part because you believe yourself to be a good partner. You've embodied that belief every day, so you show up in your relationship as a good partner because that's who you believe. So all you're doing is expressing what you've impressed. If you run a great business, it's because you believe you have something that someone needs. You've embodied that belief. And so when you wake up in the morning every day, you go out and just express what's been impressed into your mindset. That's all that's happening. And so you can be really good in an area and not so good in another area. And that's completely fine because it's that you have different sets of beliefs about different sets of areas of your life. But in the converse, if you don't have the money, the relationship quality, the life, the health that you want, it's because you haven't yet got the mindset. That's not a criticism. It's just that the belief The identity of the person that has those things has not yet been embodied. And what a lot of people do is they make progress and then they chop and change and swap to a new thing, a new vehicle, and jump around to the new shiny object. It doesn't work. And so this is actually brilliant if you've realized this in yourself, because now it gives you something to focus on. The second reason we run BBA masterminds is that because when a person is in momentum, it's critical that you have the next thing to go on to. I'm personally very clear in the impact that I want to have in the world. I want to help people not just lose weight and change their body, but maintain it. And more importantly, I want people to use the confidence that that physical change has created as leverage into bigger and better things on life, romance, career, business owning, whatever it is. And when you simply look at the evidence, it's pretty clear that it works. Nick and Terry Holden, which I think they're watching on here, they've gone from basically fat blokes to running a marathon in a week's time. Christy Keenan, tripling her income, going after a job that she would have never gone for. Nico Koshia, turning himself from depressed and overweight to running a hatted restaurant and competing in powerlifting tournaments. John Timmons losing 35 kilograms and then now running 3 marathons. Amy Monks, not sure if she's watching, but getting on stage as a speaker and crushing a massive fear of anxiety. Nick Duggan picking up his entire family and moving to Japan to make a big career move. Steve Byron, I'm not going to spoil your secret here, but the big man's about to release, I think, a huge win. I could keep listing them, but the point is this. What separates you from your next level is mastery of your mindset. And once you cut the shackles, you start to play an infinite game. There's no like, oh, that's my level now. You've just realized that, oh, kind of like an infinite video game. There's like levels upon levels upon levels upon levels upon levels. Now, here's some examples of the types of things that we cover inside the mastermind. This is the level we're playing out. How to create a vision for your life. How to rewire your brain for success, to expect success. How to overcome your feelings, as in like, I don't want to do that. How to overcome that feeling and act with discipline. How to become the hero in your journey. How to create habits that originate from your identity. I'm this person, so now I do this thing. How to build self-belief and slay like a dragon being slayed by a warrior. How to slay self-sabotage. How to make failure your daily goal. And there's much more than this. Most of these things you probably never really given any thought to, and that's the reason we go so deep on them. So as a natural question, you might ask yourself, well, should I apply for the mastermind? And the reason there is an application process is that I want to be sure that you're going to do the work. And the great thing about the new mastermind is it can be 2 people at the start, and that's completely fine with me. The reason masterminds work is that each member of the mastermind brings commitment and vulnerability and a willingness to turn up. A willingness to turn up to participate. Because the mastermind is only as strong as its weakest link. And so this begs a really important question that I reckon anyone that's considering applying for it would be thinking right now, especially after what I've talked about. Am I actually ready? Who's thinking that? Who's honestly thinking that? Am I actually ready for a mastermind? It's actually a great question, but it's a contradictory one. And let me explain why. In order for you to be ready for anything in your life, any new thing, we tend to have this thought that, well, I need to have the confidence to do it. I need to have the self-belief. I need to have the mindset. I need to be ready for it, right? But if you already had all of those things, then you'd already be at your next level. This is why at the start of the last mastermind, we had around half the people that actually started contact directly and say, I really want to do this, but I don't think I'm ready. What do you think? Do you think I'm ready? The point is, you will never ever be ready. That's the whole point. You will never be ready. Because if you were ready, you would already be there. And then at that point, you'd be looking at what the next level is. The kings like Nick Duggan and Terry and Nick Friend and Nico and Dan Troutman, Steve Byron, and the queens like Michelle and Linda and Christy and Lisa and Catherine, they're all products of the Mastermind. And if you want what they got, you do what they've done. We've made one big change to the structure of this Mastermind going forward. And this is to make sure that I can continue to support this crew as best as they can as they go deeper and develop more. Rather than it being a short-term program that is super duper intense and almost like hard to keep pace with, we've heard a little bit of feedback from the last Mastermind. What I've actually done is reduce the intensity of the new Mastermind to allow us more time and less pressure, which is great. If you're thinking about applying, I'll let you know straight up, the pricing of the Mastermind will actually be less than the base program. This is how much we want you guys to win over the long term. We've had a few Mastermind students who've done the program before and said, can I get involved again? I want to be held to more accountability. The answer is yes, you can. I'll put the application link up this morning for those of you that want to get involved. On that note, guys, I'll be seeing you soon next time from Australia, hopefully with a very safe and sound flight and get some rest on the way. Hopefully the kids behave. And a reminder to any of the boys that are watching this that would like to come to the retreat, shoot me a DM and we will sort you out. Guys, this has been the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs, and we will see you in the next episode.